At work, have you ever felt drained, confused, exhausted, or stressed after talking to someone? Like one moment you're fine, and then after interacting with someone, you feel this complete shift? That is likely because you're interacting with an energy vampire. In this video, I'm going to share tips for how you can make sure that you're not absorbing energy from the environment around you and to keep your energy healthy. Hey, if you're new here, my name is SolTara. I'm a medium and I share alchemy practices from Atlantis and ancient Egypt. If that resonates with you, I invite you to subscribe. Most energy vampires actually don't realize that they are energy vampires, and that lack of awareness is what causes them to act in these unhealthy ways. So most of them are doing this unknowingly, some of them are doing it knowingly, but the majority is unaware of this. And signs of an energy vampire is someone who is constantly trying to get attention onto themselves. They will go to the extent to pick fights and to pin people against each other in the office so that they can benefit or so that they can receive attention. And oftentimes it's these energy vampires who also have narcissistic traits. What they do is they will actually just try to fill their own needs, because a lot of these energy vampires and narcissists, they're in so much deep pain. They feel a deep level of loneliness and mistrust, so they feel like they have to act in these unhealthy ways to get their needs met. Now let's talk about the environmental factors of these behaviors. These narcissistic behaviors are actually rewarded in the workplace, especially in the United States. The United States is an individualistic culture where the focus is more on serving one's needs rather than thinking about the collective needs. And if you actually look at who are the most successful people in the corporate world, they tend to be narcissists. If you have a toxic work environment, then you may have a toxic narcissistic boss, or you may deal with a lot of office politics. This is from Duke University, the 9 traits of a narcissistic person. And number 5 is that they will interpersonally exploit others for their own gain. And this is part of the office politics and something that is actually rewarded by the corporate environment. So there are environmental causes of why this is happening. This article was written by Michael McCovey and it's labeled Narcissistic Leaders, the Incredible Pros and Inevitable Cons. And this article has influenced leadership in the corporate world for a long time. It even won an award. But if you even look at how this is framed, the incredible pros and the inevitable cons, it's even the framing of this, like it's something inevitable that's going to happen, but it's worth it because it's incredible. So there's this corporate shift that needs to happen in order for the environment to be healthier for you and for other people at work. It can be hard to be fulfilled at work and to be authentic at work when you're dealing with these environmental factors and your soul may be depleted, like you're doing work but you just feel so drained by it for these reasons. To avoid this, something that you can do is create healthy boundaries. Now, the number one thing I see people struggle with is that they don't actually communicate their boundaries. So you have to communicate your boundaries with your boss, with your supervisor, with whoever is a stakeholder there in order for your needs to be heard and to be met. And if you have trouble with this, I'll put a video at the end of this with advice for how to create boundaries as an empath. When you have healthy and clear boundaries, this is the space where your divine feminine can thrive. Rather than us exploiting other people to go up the corporate ladder or to be recognized for our work, can you actually instead be more authentic and be rewarded in this way? And the answer is yes. I've seen it happen with many of my students. Having healthy boundaries creates the container for your divine feminine to thrive and to flourish. The divine feminine aspect of you connects you to out of this world creativity. It connects you with deep sense of intuition, and there is so much benefit that you can receive and that your team can receive by you connecting with this deep level of intuition. The divine feminine is connected to the spiritual internet that's available to all of us. Just like there's Wi-Fi in your house, but you're not able to say, oh, here's the Wi-Fi. It's there, but you cannot see it. It's the same thing with energy and consciousness. There's this divine consciousness that wants to flow through all of us, but because we're stuck in the mind, it gets blocked in our mind and it can't really come through our words or come into our creativity. And so the more that you can connect with your intuition, with your creativity, the more your projects are going to flourish. To create a more balanced environment at work, whether you work in the office or you work from home, when you're making a phone call, when you're sending an email, that's already an energy exchange, and that is part of an energy core that you're creating with that person. So even though you may not be physically in the same room as that toxic energy vampire or narcissist, you will still feel the effects of feeling drained, feeling confused, feeling depleted, feeling depressed after interacting with them. And so these are some tools that you can use to counterbalance that. So one way you can filter out that energy is by working with crystals. Crystals are a living essence, just like with Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi gives us access to Spotify, to Google, to the internet. Our crystals gives us access to other energies as well. And that's why there's so many colors of crystals, because they all have different properties. Now, the crystals that you want to use in your office environment are black tourmaline, hematite, tiger's eye, and selenite. These crystals will help to not just to create sort of like a barrier to filter out any intense energy that's coming at you, like negative thoughts, negative intentions coming at you. Black tourmaline, obsidian, and hematite are great for transmuting that energy, whereas tiger's eye will help you to be more courageous and have that courage to create those healthy boundaries. And selenite will create a harmonious environment. That's why you want to add that. You can also use essential oils to clear the energy in your office environment and in your energy field. Let's say that you were called into your boss's office, or you were in a work meeting and there was a lot of intensity and hostility there. You want to clear that off of you so that's not attached to you during the whole day and even when you get home. So something you can do is you can either put a few drops of these essential oils on your palms, rub them to activate the oils because we have chakras on our hands, and then you can wave them around your energy field to cleanse your energy field. You can also use these essential oils to make a spray, and then you can spray the environment around you. You can also spray yourself. Some of the essential oils that you can use for this are sage, eucalyptus, rosemary, and peppermint to transmute that negative energy being directed at you. And then you can use frankincense, you can use sandalwood, you can use lavender to create a more harmonious energy around you. So the key is not just to deflect and filter out negative energy, but the key is also to create a nourishing environment for you to be nourished, but also for your team or whoever's in your office to be nourished as well, because you're constantly going to be interacting with them. Even if you're not talking to them, our energy fields are like giant donuts and they're always mixing and interacting. You can also use energy cleansing practices. Let's say you walk into your office and you can feel the anxiety or you can feel the anger. You don't want to be affected by that, and that's the energy that's left in that room. So you want to cleanse your energy before you go home and also right before you go to sleep. I teach more advanced alchemy practices from ancient Egypt inside of the Alchemy Academy. If you want more details about this academy where you learn to become your own healer and you learn to open up your psychic ability safely, you can get more details in the description of this video. The last thing that affects that work culture is the human biases that create that culture. We live in a men's world designed by men, and with that comes human biases. So sometimes the women in team meetings, we don't hear their voices or their ideas are suppressed. And something that you can do to counterbalance that is learning to open up and to cleanse your throat chakra. So becoming more comfortable using your voice and speaking up and sharing your ideas and sharing your opinions. One way to do this is on your drive to work, or if you work from home, as you're getting ready for the work day, start to hum to activate the throat chakra, start to sing, start to chant, and that will help clear any blocks, any imbalances, any distortions that you may be storing in your throat chakra. You can also work with crystals. That's exactly why I'm wearing this Larimar crystal, because blue crystals help to stimulate the throat chakra and help you to communicate with more grace, with more ease. But the reason why Larimar is one of my favorite crystals is because this connects you with your divine feminine. So it connects you to speak from the heart. And that is one of the things you have to do in this world designed by men and for men. You have to create that balance and bring in more authenticity, because the divine masculine is very mind focused and is disconnected from the heart. And when you connect with your divine feminine, you can bring in more of your soul's essence and more of your authenticity. And you get to this point where you don't even have to open your mouth. People around you will start to ask you for your opinions, ask you for your ideas, because they will feel that creative energy in your energy field. Remember that bringing your soul's essence shifts everything around you, internally in yourself and externally around you. This is something that my student did. She works at a Fortune 100 company and she was interviewing for a leadership position. In the past, she would try to force things to happen. So that would be more of the divine masculine essence coming in. And she said that she would exert herself, like just try super, super hard to get something that she wanted. But instead, we were doing a divine feminine class before her interview, and she started to use these divine feminine principles of surrendering, of connecting with her magnetic energy, of being authentic, of being creative and being in the flow. And that is what allowed her to bring more of her authentic self into the interview, and the panelists loved that she was able to be so authentic and they could feel it. You know how you can feel just someone's essence? You can just feel their soul coming through. We hear it in music, when we see a painting, where it's an inner knowingness. You can create that for the environment around you. Even though those people may not be spiritual, they will feel it, because there's a difference between forcing and flowing and allowing that divine consciousness to flow through you. You will be able to do that by connecting with your divine feminine. Thank you for your comments, for your likes, for subscribing. If you struggle with absorbing energy from your coworkers or from your office, watch this video so that you can learn to stop absorbing energy from other people and from environments around you. Much love.